day to you all. This is just a quick video. I wanted to talk about the Oculus Rift S. This is my little baby right here. And the problems I had until recently and other users have had about the reliability of the Rift S with their computers. The biggest problem is with the Rift S is that the software is very specific about the USB ports it supports and uses. Many users have had problems whereby their screen would just cut out black while using it. Another classic one would be what's known as the robot voice, where you could be using your Rift S for one day perfectly fine, and the next day 7 or 8 times during your play your voice will suddenly go to a very weird robotic Dalek-y kind of voice setup. It was demonstrated by a user called Blue Angel on YouTube, who I'll show a brief clip from, which perfectly demonstrates the issue of this robot voice.
So this is my Oculus mic. All the mics are important, and this is what it keeps randomly going to. It fixed, and then it's gonna go back. I don't know when. It does it randomly. This is still the mic. It just fixed, and it hasn't gone robotic yet. And soon it does this.
I was also having the same problem. And it was really frustrating because no matter what you try to do, uninstall the software, reinstall, update drivers, nothing would it would still not work. When I first got my Rift S about a year ago, I found that my computer's onboard USB 3 mother connections were rubbish. They just wouldn't work on the Rift S. It was fine up until that point. Every other device I plugged into it, rock solid performance. Rift S, no chance. Most of the ports either wouldn't work at all. I found one port on my onboard motherboard connections that would work sometimes. You would have to disconnect it, reconnect it, uninstall the software, reinstall the software. Really unreliable. So I thought, well, what I'll do is I will get different USB cards. I thought, well, that makes sense. I bought one card. This is the CSL 7-port connection. Didn't work at all. You'd connect the Rift S up to it, and it would basically crash out after 30 seconds, black screen, doesn't work again until you reboot the computer. Same problem over and over. So I thought I'll get another card. So this is the Innertech 2-port USB 3 connection. It literally only has a standard USB 3 connection and a Type-C. Again, exactly the same problem. Didn't want to know. I then did find a third card, a budget card, which would work rock solid for the visuals and the audio that you can hear, but I was still getting the robot voice every so often when playing games, and it was really frustrating. It got to the point where I had to use a separate microphone for when I wanted to record and play games. The downside of that, though, was the microphone was connected to the PC, and it meant that you couldn't really move around with the VR headset, which is really what you want to do for many of these games. I had spoken to an engineer at Oculus who graciously got back to me through the support system, and he looked at my logs for my computer setup and found that, again, it was the USB connections. It was not fully supported, and so the Oculus software and the headset was not able to pass data backwards and forwards fast enough to be able to reliably work with the microphone. Recently, I purchased a new USB card from StarTech.com, the 4-port USB 3 card. This is the PEXUSB3S44V. Now, this is not cheap. It is like £90 roughly online. But there's a reason why it costs so much. The card itself is a beast, and I'm telling you, it is the best USB card I've ever purchased, which sounds crazy because, you know, why would anyone get excited about a USB 3 card? But this is the card here, and it is absolutely fantastic. The reason why this card is so good, one, it works with my Rift S. Now I get absolutely rock solid performance, no robot voice anymore. It has solved all the issues. But the other reason is because of why it does that. You see, this card here, unlike another card where it has just one controller chip, which is located just here, just a little single connection chip there. This one, for all its ports, has 4 controller chips, one for each port, which means that this card can deliver a rock solid 5 gigabit connection per port independently of each other. It's not sharing any data throughput through one chip, which means that the Rift S and other devices will get its own dedicated channel for its own use. And this is where the problem was solved. Now on the card it has also 2 power connections. It has a standard 4-pin Molex and a SATA connection. You only need to use one. You don't have to use both of them at the same time. The instructions weren't too clear on that initially, but luckily I didn't plug both in straight away. I did look it up. And as I say, also if you have, for example, Valve Index or the original Rift or any headset that requires tracking stations around your room, you can now use just one card to do the whole job. It will work absolutely rock solidly. It also supports a 900 milliamp connection on each one for charging and power throughput to other devices. As I say, it's an absolutely phenomenal card. I'll put a link to the actual product on the description below. In the box it comes with a driver disc, which by the way I must stress, if you're using Windows 10 and I believe Windows 8 as well, do not use. The drivers do not work properly that are supplied with the card. The Windows own driver is perfectly capable of doing the job. Again, didn't make that clear in any details, only found that out by accident. So just plug the card in, let your Windows do its job, and you'll be absolutely fine. You will find the card won't work if you use the drivers built that came with it. It also comes with a short form factor case bracket, so if you've got a thinner case you can replace the bracket with a narrow one. Something to bear in mind, this has been a problem for some people, is that the ports are connected kind of, it's sort of sideways onto how people normally expect it. They'd normally expect it to be down lengthways here. It's going across. They've done that obviously for space saving, so the card can be a lot narrower, but there have been some people who have found that their cases causes the ports to be slightly blocked. So do bear that in mind, that these ports are not laid out in the same way as pretty much all other cards. But as I say, to sum up, the card is absolutely fantastic. This card will now go with me whatever build I use on my computer. Absolutely brilliant. If I do end up getting a newer headset in the near future, like for example the Valve Index, I don't have to worry about any ports to connect all the devices up to it. At the moment I use this card with my Rift S and a couple of USB 3 external hard drives, and the transfer of data between the hard drives and the computer has been absolutely phenomenal at that point. So as I say, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to talk about this card. Absolutely brilliant, highly recommend, but again be aware that it costs a lot, around £90 UK cash. It's about 120, 130 US dollars, but it does solve all the problems with the Rift S and for data connectivity. Anyway, thanks for watching. Only a short video. I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Bye bye.